It's Friday. I don't know about you guys, but it's Friday. I don't know if you're home. I don't know if you're at work. I don't know where you are in the world, but it's Friday. So we're going to bring it down a little bit, and then we're going to bring it back up, and then we're going to take it back down, and then we're going to bring it back up. So let's start. Let's bring some peoples in. What's up, my guys? It's
What up,
Friday.
man?
It's post celebration. It's a week after,
Oh, yes.
and here we are.
Before we get started, I just gotta say something. Ron, stop. Just stop.
Where's Ron? All right.
Rawr.
He didn't even say anything. I'm just prepared. I'm just getting ahead of it.
All right. So, Sheev, you're home from celebration, or you've done a week of work now. It's time to get back to real life. So, what's cracking with you? I haven't seen you on the waves much lately. So, what's up? Where you been? What you doing?
Well, I did a preview stream and then the watch party, and I don't think I've really done anything since. I've kind of just been observing a little bit, thinking of videos, and then theorizing, of course, because that's what I love to do as a Star Wars fan. So yeah, we got the Bad Batch release date, and I've been thinking about that all day. And how Andor's mid-season finale is supposed to be the same day that
I know they're so let's talk about that. Let's start with that subject of conversation. So it looks like for the first time in Star Wars, we're going to get some overlapping content. So there's going to be two simultaneous shows going on. I'm curious, are they both going to air on Wednesdays? Or is one going to be Wednesday, one's going to be Friday? Like because they've been bouncing back and forth between these two nights. Chat, feel free. Let's go one for Wednesdays, two for Fridays. But what do you guys think? Are they just gonna go back to back Wednesdays, just drop them both, watch what you want, or is this gonna be
go first?
An every other day?
Do we know? I think
so. That's what I was gonna say. Is the official from what we saw on Disney Plus in certain parts of the world, U.S. included, for a little bit. I don't know if it's still there or not. Was September 28th is the day that Bad Batch is premiering. Someone, I think ABJ actually did a kind of like a timeline of how the Andor season should play out based on Wednesday releases, because the first two episodes are releasing August 31st, which I believe is a Wednesday, although I'm not 100% sure about that. So he kind of did the math, and September 28th is also the sixth episode of when the sixth episode of Andor should release, which would be the same day that the Bad Batch is supposed to release as well.
Have all the Disney Plus, Marvel, everything been Wednesdays as well?
What If and Visions overlapped one night,
but they've been Wednesdays for everything.
I think so,
because I remember when Loki came out, Tom Hiddleston made that announcement that like they were taking over Wednesday nights. So I assume it's just going to stay the same
on Fridays.
Yeah, I think it'll just kind of stay the same, but I don't know if that was an MCU exclusive thing or not.
Well, I mean, I don't think there's any more rules, to be honest. I mean, I think all bets are off at this point. I think it's
eventually they're gonna have to take over other time slots.
I just think it would be smart to take 2 days, give people a day to process, do a Wednesday, 100%. Friday, and give people a day to process what they just watched, because there's more coming in 5 minutes. And then what are you covering as a content creator? Are you covering the Wednesday night drop? Are you covering the Friday night drop? Are you trying to cover both? You want to really toss content creators around, go ahead and drop something on the same night.
Right.
Yeah. Which I'm cool with it. It's going to wreck me, but
put out 2 shows in the same timeline.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm theorizing.
Should we get like a cork board with some yarn and some pins?
Yes.
So we can just start connecting the dots like a murder investigation here. Like, is that the road we're on? Because it kind of feels like if you're dropping 2 shows that are taking place at the same time. Like, bro, there's a lot of interaction that's going to go on.
Yep.
Oh yeah. I mean, we've even heard, and slight spoilers, not really, but there's supposed to be a little bit of a time jump for the Bad Batch season 2, and you can even tell that if you've seen the trailer. So maybe it will take place at some point during the Andor series. You know what I mean, or like around that time frame.
Well, but Andor is going to be everywhere, though. I mean, this is a story of a boy who was a separatist during the Republic. Come to find out, the separatists were actually on the right side of things the entire time.
From a certain point of view,
who become the rebellion, who becomes the resistance ultimately, and he was on the right side of everything the whole time. So you go back, and he's a 6-year-old boy smuggling secrets for the separatists. At Order 66 happens, the Empire starts. Now he's a rebel.
Bro, what about this scenario? We're gonna get however many seasons of Andor. Like, say Andor goes like 3, 4, 5 seasons. What if we had a simultaneous show running, but it's the Imperials?
Well,
and what they're dealing with, and like the Imperial remnants, and it would kind of be like the video.
Oh, Skynet.
But like the video games and how the storylines in the video games shifted between the two, that'd be cool.
Oh, kind of like
what if?
But I don't.
You mean
do you guys think they would? Yeah. Do you guys think they'd be more likely to do crossover type things like that? Or what I think they would do is like a baton. So like say the Bad Batch season ends, but they're going to be in live action. They would end on a cliffhanger and then show up again in like their live action parts of the timeline, I guess.
Well, and what's
like Omega, for instance.
What's going to be tricky is anybody that's in both. There's only a few people that can be in both at the same time, right? Katie Sackhoff is one person that could be in both, because that character is literally identical between animation and screen, right? So there's a lot of these characters that we're going to be seeing. Are they going to be, the same character that they were, and how similar is their live action counterpart going to be?
Sure. I mean,
especially if we're seeing them every week together.
Right? Yeah, and to your point, even though you could do characters like Cameron Monaghan's Cal Kestis and like bring him in from the games, that put him into the animation, because he could fit into them. He that we see in the trailer, Gungi's back, which is friggin' hyped. And I mean, they talk about needing all the allies they can get. Well, what if they did find Cal Kestis at some point in the timelines? I'm not sure if it would happen that early, just because his story doesn't pick up.
He's a boy on Baka, right?
For a bit.
I mean, he's there for at least 5 years. So unless they jump forward 5 years, but based on what we see in the trailer, Palpatine's empire. That's where he's releasing the information about his empire. That's the next stage. He's discussing. So it seems like in that regard, it's maybe a month or so, maybe months or so. Omega obviously looks bigger in any iteration of the trailer, as she should, but I don't think years are going to have gone by. Maybe by the end of the season, they may jump forward in time, but I didn't even see Cody in that trailer, and I went like frame by frame. I didn't see it.
He's in it. He's in it.
I think Cal Kestis is a good candidate, obviously, because he's an actor already. But I was thinking, like, with the Bad Batch type stuff and the backlash from even Boba Fett, like, you can't just take any character from the cartoon and put him in live action and expect them to be loved right away. So I think they would kind of maybe avoid this kind of what we're saying with like their cartoon, unless we have like Katie Sackhoff, good example as well. But I don't think they can at this point take a animated created character, like the first time we see them is animated, and transition them to live action and have it slap, unless it's like, I don't know if you guys can think of any off the top of your head, but I cannot.
Mothma?
Well, yeah. Wait, so Rosario was cast for that. You know, Cal Kestis was cast for that. Katie Sackhoff was pretty much cast for that. But I can't think of examples in animation or other, call it ancillary material, that they would bring in right now that, you know, would crush.
I mean, a Saw Gerrera, a young Saw Gerrera.
Yup.
Right.
But see, now with Saw Gerrera, if he's young, he can't be Forrest Whitaker.
Why,
so
they've done
if that dude doesn't
age digression.
Crush, but I'm saying if that dude doesn't crush, bro, like this is where we're at now. It's
well, but
this
goes back to the video
situation.
This goes back to the video I put out today and the way and where we are with technology, right? Like the fact that it was, but wasn't, but maybe was, but kind of was from a certain point of view. James Earl Jones, and an algorithm creating the voice of.
You think so?
Oh,
it wasn't just like the.
No, it was like the
credited.
same kind of thing they did for Luke, which I'm fine with if they can do that.
Because James Earl Jones' voice is just old now, and it wouldn't sound like a fresh.
Even if he
Vader.
did it, even if he had the voice in him to do it, he's not going to be around forever. So breaking this technology in now, while we still have him to be able to refine and tweak, you know, adding it and testing it now while he's here.
Yeah, and it's not that. 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 Yeah, and it's not that.
I am going to
my boy. No, they got him.
I am going to clip that what is his Max what is his name? Oh my god.
He'll be back, chat.
Oh my god. Are you back?
All right.
What
was he trying to say?
Help me out, Matt Cave. That Max Reboot? No, who's
Max Rebo?
Damn, Matt Cave's gonna help me out when he gets Skynet.
No, you lost me on it,
bro.
Hey, go watch that replay, bro.
Wow,
I'm gonna clip the shit out of that. You
didn't expect that to happen.
It's already clipped, bro.
Wow. What was I saying?
I don't remember. I was trying to hold on to the thought while you were coming back, and I lost it.
It was too fantastic.
Max Headroom. Skynet got me for sure.
You just got memed as Max Headroom, just so you know. That's it. It's epic.
Oh man,
it's gonna be so good.
R.I.P.
R.I.P. But yeah, I mean, this is Mon Mothma, right? That might be a good transition from live action to animation, right? That's gonna be the key, you know, with the facial recognition stuff, with the voice technology. Getting this stuff out in the open now is an important piece, because James Earl Jones isn't going to be here forever, but Vader could be, right? And so he's going to show up in a lot more shows, and you know, we need him to get out there and voice act as much of this stuff as he can, as fast as he can.
That's what I was trying to say. Is like the more that they record now, is the more they can store forever to keep using Vader's voice. You know,
I have so many mixed feelings on that.
But I mean, that's unfortunately
if he's down for it, like, what's the problem?
And the family's got, you know, it's helping the family, you know, whatever.
Well, and as long as they are going to continue to pay the royalties to the family, and as long as that's a contractual thing, then absolutely let's
we're talking about multi-billion-dollar corporations.
As a fandom, I think we would definitely fight for James too. You know what I mean? Like,
you saw what happened when they didn't mention his birthday, bro.
Yeah, for real.
Yeah, but I mean, again, you always have to come back to that well, right? I mean, there's a well in James Earl Jones that is so deep. I mean, he's the only cast member that crossed over from the animated Lion King to the live action, right? Like, his voice is that iconic that I'm sure a deal has been made to his estate, to his trust, to his kids, to his wife, whatever the conditions he wants. I feel like they're being met, and they're going to be paying out as long as they use his rendition of the voice, no matter whether, you know, Hayden's involved or the AI is involved. He has a piece of him has to go on.
He is a legend. It wouldn't feel the same without him. You know what I mean? Or without his presence as Vader.
Do you guys think we're gonna get a no?
That would be awesome.
Oh, we have to. Wait.
That's amazing, dude. Oh
that's teamwork there.
That's
teamwork.
I forgot all about that shit.
We made that happen together, all of us. That's teamwork right there. That's out there, bro.
But yeah, I give it like a 65. A little more than 50-50 that we could get a no.
Oh. Yeah, I mean, look, dude, if we don't see a Vader suffering Padme scene at this point still, I mean, it's been 10 years, but he never really gets over it. Yeah, man, I don't really know if we're going to get that, because that's more of a Padme thing, right? Like, yeah, I'm already having questions about how does he not feel Leia, right? Like, I know he doesn't know about the babies and he doesn't know about that, but just you can tell she's using the Force already. All of the way that she reads her cousin,
she should at least be showing, you know what I mean, in terms of like, and maybe he's just ignorant because I don't know. Obi-Wan,
or is it something more like, I don't want to say an awakening, but I did. But hear me out. Like, what if she's more of like a Poe Dameron right now?
A late shower?
He's a really good pilot because he's more in tune with it, and she's just very intuitive because of how connected she is and strong with it.
I think
she doesn't really know what she's doing.
So nuclear take. This is going to blow up the fandom right now. So nuclear take. I think that look at what Kylo did to Rey and reading her mind. That's exactly what Leia's doing to her cousin at that table. She's reading his thoughts. She's looking inside, and that's something that she passes on to her son, right? Traits pass from a lot of, I mean, you see it in Vader and Luke, a lot of the same traits and powers tend to go from father to son. It seems like it's a mother to son, as far as
we see a lot of characters do that too. So I mean, it makes sense that she would be strong or like, in tune, whether it's just naturally or whatever. It's and she's always been kind of a, someone to read between the lines as it is. So
now
I definitely see it.
So okay, so that's I just kind of see that as a early foreshadowing of what she passes on to Kylo, or to Ben, that it then becomes Kylo. But even more so, it's, do the Inquisitors, the Emperor, and Vader know about her being Force sensitive, but they can't touch her because she's Bael's daughter?
That could be part of it, and I kind of doubt that she, like, I don't think she's strong enough in the Force to be like, showing signs or like having people feel it, like, in a way. And they do a good job of trying to keep her hidden as it is. Like, same with Luke, like they're not.
But she's not hidden, and if the Inquisitor's only job is to feel Force sensitive,
right now,
how can
this storyline?
But there's some good chatter in the chat. Believe it or not, they're not the drama tonight.
Of course.
I'm kidding. I love you, chat. But the fact that Vader didn't know shit about old Leia when he's interrogating her, so well, I mean, that's a little girl Leia, same kind of thing.
Yeah, no, checkmate. Thank you very much, because that's it right there. I mean, look,
shout out to Ladaj.
I mean, look, it's I mean, yeah, she's obviously trained by Bael. She's obviously, father like daughter. But in that regard, she's got she's got an ace up her sleeve that nobody knows.
That's the Force, I think, too.
I think just the way she read him,
told him all of his own thoughts, and he was like, "Wait, what?
Wait, what?" Right?
Did Vader even see Leia?
No, but I mean, if Reva's got her, one of two things. I mean, I don't want a spoiler alert for anybody, but if you're a couple days out, if you haven't seen it, stop watching, go. But if Reva's got her, so what? This is going to be. So this is what I would call the whatever you want to call her, protagonist, antagonist, cast member here. She is going to either save Leia, or she's going to, because I think that could be the twist here. I think she could be secretly saving Jedi kids and trying to play double agent on them.
Well, I like that because she's definitely the little Jedi that's in the beginning, leading all of the other ones out. Like, she's the one leading them out of the Jedi Temple. Hey.
Yo.
But did you guys catch that? Because a lot of people I've actually talked to did not catch that.
No, I think she's definitely the little girl too.
Oh, she is the little. Yes,
okay.
she is the little.
There's some people I know that got to go back and watch it.
So that is.
Are we talking Reva in the beginning in Order 66?
Yes.
Oh yeah, that's totally her.
Look at the same braid. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's 100% her.
So
real quick though, Obsession. I don't think she's already doing that. I think her storyline could lead to that. And again, I don't really know too much spoilers from here on out, if I'm being honest. Like,
yeah,
I know like one thing, and that's it.
I'm not a leaker. I
know.
I know. Because people.
This is speculation.
Because people. Well, and now that Matt's here, there's another opinion, but the rumor, hot take on the street is that the success of the show has gone so far that they are changing the ending of the story and potentially bringing a season 2 into play. Oh. Now, if this is the case, I am thrilled. Not that they're bringing a season 2. I am thrilled that all the leakers and spoilers are about to have all of their videos and shit totally useless if they do this. And this is what I've been saying about wait, because they have the ability to make these changes on the fly. They have all of this stuff in the
so easy with their technology.
It's that just easy.
Like,
he has been saying that. How hard is it to do a 2-minute post-credit scene? Done.
Bro, done. Changes everything.
Especially with the volume, bro.
And
you just wheel in a couple sheds.
And look, I mean, those guys were just in Anaheim with us at Celebration, and what's 45 minute drive to get to the studio? I mean, come on, guys. Bro,
I love it.
Yeah,
all of these, and that's what I've been saying. Wait until the end, like spoilers and leakers and all that stuff. It's great. You guys want the inside track on all of this information to get your channels to build this hype. I get it. But maybe it's not always the best idea.
I don't,
because now it kind of sets you off kilter, and it changes the dynamic. That's all I'm saying.
Risman, I hope there's 4 seasons too.
That'd be awesome.
Come to New York. We got 4 seasons.
Job security, guys. I mean, Risman, you're monitoring like 54 channels right now. That's just job security for you.
I wanted to bring up something actually on the topic of Reva, because I've been seeing this a lot, and I actually see it popping up in chat here too. A lot of people are comparing her to Trilla from Jedi
Thank
Fallen
you for
Order.
bringing that up.
But here's the
saw
thing:
that too.
I get the vibe a little bit, but people are like, "Oh, she's an exact copy of Trilla." I'm like, "Well, no, actually, she's not at all." Trilla was forced into the slavery of being an Inquisitor. She was tortured and she was made into an Inquisitor. Reva chose to join them.
Well, Well, and to your point, Trilla was given up by her master.
Yeah.
Right. And that spawned the spark of hate in her soul that led to her turning easier, let's say.
And she was much older. Correct me if I'm wrong.
She was.
Like, Seer had been her trainer and master for a while.
Right. She had already reached Padawan status, where Reva was a youngling still in the group, learning basic saber technique. So the fact is that Reva went voluntarily and potentially gave up the rest of her class.
Did they say when she went?
Possibly.
I was gonna say, did they say when she?
I imagine it. We're probably gonna see more of that Order 66 scene, because I doubt
there's there's no way Palpatine just takes her in.
Oh, I disagree.
And if that's not,
I could see Vader maybe
if she
doing
picks
it,
up a lightsaber when Vader this is an Anakin scene a Hayden scene I could see happening, right? I could see Anakin being, or even the Emperor finding the room full of kids and throwing one lightsaber on the ground and saying, "Who wants to live?" And her picking it up and slashing through the whole class. Like, that's the kind of dark, demented look, dude. They cut a guy in half with a laser gate. Disney is ready to go full dark side.
Yeah.
They are ready to give us some blood, bro.
I think we're going to see Order 66 again, and we're going to get more of that Reva story, and I think it's going to be brutal because there was, if you just looked in the background of what was going on when it starts panning out, there were people getting slaughtered
everywhere.
Oh,
and I brought this up with people earlier. Like, Anakin can't let her go, and Anakin can't bring her with him. It takes away from it softens his part of Order 66. It does.
Right.
It does.
But I don't think it'll be him. I think it'll be Palps. Because
Palps that I'm
already has the secret inquisitory. So he's already got these guys pulled out of the Jedi prison and going into training, and he's probably doing the training himself in the early days. Right. So
he is, for sure. Yes.
He's definitely electrocuting people. He's definitely putting it on them. And so him walking through the temple, examining Anakin in the 501st work, and then sensing a room full of younglings, right, that got away, and doing something dark to see who turns first. Like, what a great way to solidify your place in that temple and go, you know what? This is the last room of young one standing. Last one alive wins, stays alive. And I can see.
So I will push back on it a little bit,
closing and not seen it.
Some Joker stuff.
Just seen a Reva come out with a saber in her hand, all like braids completely done out. It would be gnarly.
We're gonna have.
Here's my pushback. Here's my pushback, though.
We're gonna have.
If this was a Jedi youngling that did that and was with Palpatine this entire time, she would be a secret apprentice and she would have Sith eyes. So the fact that she doesn't have Sith eyes, I believe she escaped and has now, because she's literally like, you're going to die or you're going to become an Inquisitor. I don't think that happened that long ago. And I also think that's why she's more following the Force in general. She has very minimal knowledge of Jedi training and probably very minimal knowledge of dark side training. And she's really just in it now.
Well, they all hate her for some reason.
Oh, and because she's not one of them.
I don't know if she's like super minimal. And I don't think she's like super weak. I don't think she's as strong as like the fifth brother Grand Inquisitor, which even them compared to Vader or Kenobi is probably nothing. You know what I mean? But
I mean, the guys.
You see the fifth brother pull her to the table and hold her there with her arms out.
Exactly.
I think she's strong in the Force, but she's not as so like. She could probably hold her own in a fight, but against someone who is full Jedi,
Sith, we see her chopping off hands and doing all this parkour, prequel type of jumping stuff, and even doing
a little, trained somebody. I feel like she might struggle a little.
Well, and this is a really good point. I mean, they call her a street rat. They talk about pulling her from the gutter. So that's a very valid point. That her escaping and maybe having
more of her story, man.
Maybe having a unique ability. I mean, every Quinlan Voss had unique abilities. Obviously, Anakin in his foresight, his meditation, he had unique abilities. Every Jedi has unique abilities. Maybe hers has something to do with seeking out the powers of Jedi, right? Maybe that's something that Vader needed. Maybe that's something Palps needed. Was almost like a Force radar detector, so to speak. So. I kind of feel like there's something unique to her, right?
I have an alternate take. I have a theory about Reva, and I'm curious if I wonder if I don't know. Dawn in the chat. I wonder if she's thinking along the same lines I am. We might be completely on different tracks here, but her comment before talking about paying attention to Reva's expression when Vader steps out and starts heading down the street. So my theory with Reva. And that scene in particular, I think, has key importance. I think Reva joined in order to try and get close to Vader to assassinate him. And when she starts to step forward and the brother stops her, she wasn't going after Kenobi. She was going to go try to murder Vader.
I love it.
Yeah.
I do think
you,
that she's gonna let Leia go. I'm telling you now.
Oh yeah, Leia's a tool right now.
Leia.
That's how she gets close.
Yeah, I think she's gonna take her and take her to Fortress Inquisitorius, which is where they keep all the other Force sensitive kids. And she might not even know that Leia's Force sensitive, but they, there's other prisoners there that aren't Force sensitive.
Oh, what if Kenobi? What if they free these kids, bro? What if there are prisoners there and they get freed?
That'd be pretty dope.
By Reva, by Reva, by anybody, bro.
And Hawks, I watched that thought hit your mind just now.
Not to go down that, but the path, like that chick called it the path. I need that story. I need that story.
Okay, so
that goes to all the galaxy, hiding all of the Jedi, bro. Let's go.
This is another reason I wanted our friend Sheev here, because I needed you have a job, sir. I actually wanted to put you on a mission. I need to know what all of those writings were in that room, right? If we get the Quinlan Voss, I decoded the Quinlan Voss one. It said, for a good time, call Vader. 1-800.
That was hilarious.
No, it didn't.
No, it didn't. I'm just
that's freaking hilarious.
That meme was great, dude.
It was a meme. Hawks caught it also.
That's funny.
But no, I mean, we know that's Quinlan Voss. Obviously, that's a saying, something along the lines of, keep hope alive until the next, until something shows up, whatever. But I want to know, is Cal Kestis' name in there? Was he one of the orphans that got routed through the path, or was he on his own?
Looked at, no, but I've literally thought, like, what if Andor, Bad Batch, and the Survivor game are all based on this kind of storyline where there's like an underground railroad for Jedi.
Well, and he destroyed, this is right about the time, right? This is right about the time Cal Kestis is 18 years old, right? I mean, you got to figure the second sister, the Inquisitor ship that you end up getting rescued from. This is right about the time of Cal Kestis making his journey, taking out Trilla, right?
It's a little bit before or after.
Perfect.
Bro,
even
so
better.
Imagine,
that's what I'm saying. Even better. So,
yeah, he's already been there.
Right.
Been there, done that.
That's what I'm saying. His name, he might have helped start that, right? He might have helped start the path and met Quinlan somewhere, right? And so my point being is that there's an opportunity here to bring in, Cal into this fold. And what a great name for the game than Jedi Survivor, and showing the path of Cal starting the path, or
could Quinlan Voss be inside that tank?
Oh, so I'm glad you said that, because the other night,
tank from this Jedi Survivor
trailer. So
I thought it was like white or blonde hair.
I went frame by frame checking for that design that's on his face.
Yeah.
Oh, his tattoos?
I don't see. That's where I started the question. Are they tattoos or are they
face paint?
Face paint, because there's none there in the tank. But I was like, all right, we got a white-haired somebody with long hair. I mean, it could be Quinlan.
The only reason I like that is because they have the exact same ability, the psychometry or whatever it is, where they can touch items and it shows their history. Those two would be the perfect two to keep the path a secret, to find people who don't want to be found through items that nobody else would be able to, they're the perfect pairing to save Force sensitives.
But I'm saying, here's the thing. Look, if Quinlan helped start it, like she said, right? Quinlan helps from time to time. He's here all the time. What better thing to enter the game than Cal running through that and having a Quinlan Voss scene?
Yeah,
right, to introduce him back into the lore, because there are stories. Now this is another thing that I feel like people get really upset about, and I'm gonna broach it, and we're gonna talk about it. The EU Legends expanded universe, this stuff, people got real pissed off when Disney came in and said, look, all of these stories, I got a bunch of them back there, right? These stories are not canon. These stories have been decanonized. Disney has set these movies and these things as canon, and we're going to go forward from here. Now, a lot of people got really upset. A lot of people were like, this isn't my Star Wars. Why would they do that? There's such great stories. Blah, 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 right? Now, fast forward a few years, and now they're cherry picking stories out of these amazing and this catalog. This is something that friends of mine and I have gone rounds about. Why didn't you just leave that stuff in canon? Then we wouldn't have these problems. Blah, 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 blah. Right? Okay.
Was that Boss Nas?
No, thank you. So
a little bit of Tasmanian devil in there.
Now Favreau and Filoni have gone through and said, okay, let's start picking stories out, right? Let's start picking characters out and let's start using some of these stories. For instance, we did a week-long Kenobi homework every week leading up to Celebration, every day leading up to Kenobi. And what was the thing in that comic that we saw in live action this very week, my friends? What did we see? We saw Kenobi getting burned by Vader.
So epic.
It may have been a dream sequence in the comic, but these two masters of storytelling took something out of the comic and said, all right, it can't be this, because we want them to meet, right? It can't be this, which is what I wanted. Look, I'm gonna say it outright, you know. And hold on, I'm gonna say it outright. If anybody should be pissed off about Vader and this whole shabizzle, it's me. I lost money, big money. I lost $200 yesterday or this week in Kenobi, right? I lost $200. In fact, I'm gonna pay one up on this stream. I'm not gonna put up all his details, but I'm gonna pay one up on this stream with my hanging out with my homies on a Friday night. So he's got some drinking and party money for the weekend because he earned it. The other one is going to get paper because I know his address. I'm going to send him his money. But if anybody should be pissed off, it should be, I should be pissed off. Yes. But I'm not. But I'm not, because I like the storytelling and I'm willing to concede and eat my words and eat my shit cake because I enjoy the storytelling that they're doing. So if anybody's upset about this and that and the other about Kenobi, did y'all lose money? Did y'all lose a couple $100? I'm going to say no to most of y'all. So shut the fuck up.
I knew this would come up, so I made a thing. I don't know if we'll get in trouble, but
no, fuck it, do it.
Woo! Why would we get in trouble?
Look at that. I ran the whole comic book.
We're not going to get in trouble.
I ran the whole book. Right. Okay. Look, these parallels are perfection.
Yeah. Amazing.
These parallels are perfection because in the comic, it was a dream sequence and they just reversed their roles.
Dude, this right here is so heavy.
But, it's so brutal.
And then before you can finish the sentence.
Yeah. I mean, it's so.
I loved.
Yeah, dude.
Well, and I mean, go one.
Y'all got to read comics, man. I'm telling you, it's actually
they're good.
Right there.
Go a step further, right? Go one step further than what you just showed us. There's that first scene where Kenobi's willing to engage, right? And you see Vader, and he asks him, "What has happened to you? What have you become?" And it broke everybody's dick right off. When he said,
I had to pick my dick up off the floor.
Dude, I had to pick my dick up off the floor too. Everybody and their mama was like, holy shit, he just said what you made me. I mean, Kenobi literally, like, if he felt shitty initially, bro, that just like sealed the deal, nail in the coffin, forget about it. Right? That was heart-wrenching. That was heart-wrenching. Right? Because
I lost mine when he broke the guy's neck.
Get my dick off.
Yeah.
Oh my god, bro. Okay, so let's talk about Vader for a second. Is Vader not the baddest motherfucker villain ever? Did they not just give us the baddest Vader we've ever seen? The Vader that everybody's been jonesing for.
Here's why he was so brutal in that scene and why he was the baddest Vader we had ever seen to date is because at any given moment in that scene, Vader could have killed Kenobi very easily.
He's just messing with him.
He was just messing with him. He was torturing him. He even says it. He's like, this is the beginning of your suffering. At any moment, he could have murdered him. Like, within seconds.
Look what he did to the little kid.
He snapped that kid's neck
he dragged the dad out the window.
Yeah.
And then the kid's like, no. And he pushes him on the wall with the force and goes, hey, you know what? I'm just going to break your goddamn neck.
He was the desert with Leia and Anakin's in the same pose. He turns around. I couldn't see the tear, but it was there, bro. It was there.
Look, and here's that scene. Look, a lot of people were like, well, I don't really, I heard this around that they didn't really get that. Here's the thing. Kenobi just found out that Vader is actually, that Anakin is actually alive. He doesn't know about the suit. Right? He doesn't know what happened to Anakin. All he knows is Anakin didn't die in the lava. He didn't die on Mustafar. And so that is what Kenobi believes Anakin looks like. He doesn't know that he can't breathe. He doesn't know that he needs this helmet. He doesn't know that he needs all these electronics that Palpatine put him in this suit to keep him alive. He thinks that he just got some new legs. You know, he basically Geppettoed his ass, gave him new legs and new arms, and slapped him on his ass and sent him on his way. This is the first time he's seen the horror that Vader is going through and can probably feel his pain. I mean, these guys are basically symbiotic.
I mean, and if you want to talk about, you know, stuff that broke or like breaks canon for you, I mean, this kind of adds more context to canon to how he would know he's more machine than man now and everything, which before, you know, we didn't know if they ever met.
Exactly.
Well, and I mean, that solidifies that. Look, I knew that I was wrong. I watched a scene from Return of the Jedi the other day, and I think I was talking to Hawks about this in the backstage. There's the scene where Luke and Vader are walking down when Luke turns himself in, and they're discussing his turning himself in, and Luke starts to plead with him, you know, let go of your hate. There's good in you. I know it. And Vader turns around and he's like, he tells him, you know, Obi-Wan once thought like you did, like you are. So we never saw that, right? Obi-Wan was yelling at Anakin the last time they saw each other on Mustafar. And then this time he's getting his ass kicked, right? So he discovers he's more machine now than man, twisted and evil, because basically he dragged a person by their face through the dirt. He drugged that woman by her face with the
throat
through the
I think right at the end, I think he does snap her neck too. I think she's dead at the end of that drag.
I think he was choking her and dragging her at the same time.
Yeah. So I mean, look, it you can see he knows how vicious and vile Vader is, but he doesn't want to fight him. He just doesn't want to fight him. He's terrified because he's like, I left a powerful young man on that planet to die. What is he now? Because he can feel him coming. Even before he's on the planet, he feels
that almost crippled him when he felt him coming.
Yeah, he's like, Master, he's coming. Like he turned into a Padawan during Order 66. Like,
well, no, I mean, not even during Order 66. Just
no, I'm just saying his fear, like literally the way that Obi-Wan responded to at the very beginning of the episode, going, "He's coming, Master." Like that's something a Padawan would say during Order 66. Like, what are we going to do?
Oh, that was pure panic. He was pleading to Qui-Gon at that point, like, please say something to me because we're like all in trouble.
Well, and I mean,
did he use the Force at all in that fight?
No,
I would be hard pressed.
He just got his butt whooped.
I would be hard pressed to say if he even could. If I'm being honest, because of that.
A lot of people were really upset. So I went on the Twitterverse. I went on socials a little bit. I went in and started diving into some YouTube videos. A lot of people were really upset. Chat, let us know how you're feeling. So, you know, put a 1 if you were upset, put a 2 if you weren't. But a lot of people were upset that they did not get the Kenobi of old. They were upset that the man buried his lightsabers in the dirt, had not been practicing with them in that cave, was not the sharp
in Matt Cave.
He needed my help. I came to the rescue.
He was not as sharp as he was against Maul. So how did he go from this Kenobi to the Kenobi we see in Maul, when he faces Maul, was that a disappointment for you guys? Because for me, he wasn't training that kind of training. He was trying to feel Qui-Gon. He was trying to get to that next step, and he was doing the grind that we all do through life.
Yeah, he was obviously out of practice. The fear was crippling him. And the thing is that I think what we're going to get, I really hope we get this. I have no basis on it. I haven't looked at any leaks. I haven't looked at anything saying any of this. This is just my hope. This is the kid inside of me saying, I now want at least 1 or 2 scenes of Qui-Gon finally speaking to Obi-Wan and guiding him back to his former abilities.
Right.
And bring him back to the point where he can handle this situation. Obi-Wan, I don't think will ever be back to the level he was in Revenge of the Sith, but he could get close.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, he was. Go ahead, Chief.
I was just gonna say, I feel like from what we've seen of him at this point, he's just such a hopeless person, and this episode, it's probably like the lowest point he's maybe ever been. Like, I mean, lower than when Satine died or when Anakin turned to the dark side in the first place. Like, he realizes he didn't finish the job, and he failed completely. Like, there was no greater failure than his Padawan turning and then him not being able to actually kill him, and him still being alive and still being out there. And
okay. Let's continue on this note. Now, do we believe do we think that Kenobi thought he succeeded on Mustafar when he left, and that Yoda failed in killing the Emperor, and that's why they went into exile?
That's why he says we lost.
Yeah, he's saying we lost. And yeah, because Obi-Wan thought Anakin was dead. He knew that Yoda lost the fight against Palpatine. So now they're going into hiding to hide from Palpatine, not from Anakin.
Right. Okay. So finding out that he failed, you think that was the most crippling thing? Is that
I think that in that moment, like not being able to speak to Qui-Gon for 10 years now, and not even protecting Luke at the moment, but going to help Leia and everything, like he's probably just hopeless right now. And like you see it in the fact he doesn't trust anybody too. So it's like I feel like this story is him hopefully finding that hope again, whether it's through that underground tunnel thing or through Leia and Luke, or who knows, like I think maybe through talking to Qui-Gon again at some point. But I think that's the point of this story, is that he's a hopeless man 10 years after. And at this point, he's going to turn around and find that hope to continue to do the job he needs to do.
Yeah, I think Kenobi thought this was going to play out differently, especially based off of how he left off with Yoda, because Yoda's like, I have more training for you. I'm going to teach you how to talk to Qui-Gon, and we're going to watch over these kids, and when the time is right, we're going to come back. I think in Obi-Wan's mind, I think that everything would have happened faster, like it would have been more successful, but all these years are passing by. He still can't communicate to Qui-Gon. He doesn't know what else to do. He knows he has to be in hiding, and on top of that, he's supposed to be protecting Luke, but Uncle Owen is like, you need to get away from us, like all the time. Don't be here. It's like,
I would really like to see the Qui-Gon conversation be more along the lines of if you strike me down with your hatred, I'll become more powerful than you can even imagine. So the Qui-Gon conversation needs to be building up the confidence in Obi-Wan that your time will come when it's supposed to. There's nothing you can do about it. This is the Force. This is the will of the Force. You will cross over and you will join us, kind of thing. And then that will be the moment he's like, I have to confront him no matter what happens.
Well,
he has to give himself willingly to the Force.
I mean, we all know through learning lessons and growing pains, you learn your best lessons from failure, right? Yoda says it all the time, right?
Yeah.
You didn't pass on what you learned. Failure. is this the failure that puts Kenobi back on the horse? Is this Kenobi falling off the wagon? And is this the moment when he realizes that he hasn't been training? He's been hiding. Even from himself, right? Is this the moment when Qui-Gon does speak to him and say, Padawan, what's become of you? Right? Is this the man I trained? Right? Is this the
Qui-Gon waiting for him to come to that realization?
That's what I'm saying.
On his own,
right?
And then come to him.
Right. Is this the ass kicking he needed to really get back on the horse, to get back in the fight? I mean, is this it? Because obviously seeing a young man hanging in the town that's a Jedi that came to him for help wasn't enough. So obviously the suffering of others isn't necessarily what drives him to come back. It seems like Anakin hurting others is what drove him back.
What could be,
because he didn't care that lady got her hand chopped off. He just didn't want to get outed because he had to protect Luke. He didn't care that the town was getting burned down. He didn't care about any of that stuff. He was watching the troopers beat up.
You think some of it's Leia too?
No, I think it's all Anakin. I think watching the boy he raised snapping necks and cashing checks is what drove him back to not running away. Because I think if they were just going in there as the Inquisitors, he would have ran away with Leia. But his boy, the man he raised, is out there snapping necks. That's what drove him back. That's what made him stay.
And that was, Vader knew he was there the whole time. That's why he started doing that. And Obi-Wan is just like, the fear hit him like big time. And by the way, that performance by Ewan McGregor was phenomenal. That was, he hardly spoke, and you feel every beat of that performance.
Dude, the pitch black scene with the blue just going from the side to his face, you can
dude, I was getting eyes through the grates of the door when Anakin first turns the corner, when Vader first turns the corner, and his eyes, the pupil, like just the control of what they did in that scene was staggering. I was shitting my pants.
Yeah.
Right. I'm sitting in front of the TV going, oh shit. Oh shit, he's walking down the street. Oh shit. Right?
And you know what?
Where's your fart gun in this moment, guy? Where's the fart gun in this moment?
You know what made that episode even better for me? Dude, Obsession. It was your streams of those comics. There's a moment in those comics that I immediately thought of, and it made the scene so much better for me. It was when, Obi-Wan's there, he's finally lights up the saber and he can't hear anything. I'm like, Vader turned off his shit just like he did in the comic. Yeah. It's like when they were talking about like he's willing to hurt himself to win this fight. I was like,
dude, I have to go back and watch that.
Yeah, dude, he turns
off.
He turns it off. There's no
when he's being hunted by the bounty hunters or whatever.
That's
crazy. And they're like, just listen, and he turns it off and he's holding his breath until the moment he comes out for him. Like he knew what he was doing. He 100% knew what he was doing, and he was absolutely ready for it. Right? Like that's what I'm saying. Like they pulled.
Yes, Steve, homework paid off.
Dude, I'm telling you, man. That's why we did it. That's why we spent. I mean, look, I was not
first time ever.
And you can ask Sheep. We were running around.
Hey,
I'm kidding.
We were not prepared.
In 4 months, you let me have
Skynet. I was not prepared for Celebration. I'm gonna say it out loud. Celebration got my ass. I didn't get half of. I mean, I got a couple of cool things going, but I didn't get half the shit getting done that I wanted to get done because I was ill prepared. Now, talking to the rest of the people at that celebration, they said this was the most disorganized celebration they'd ever been to, and that it was pretty rough. But the homework paid off. The homework paid off because and it's going to continue to bear fruit because there's a lot more coming.
I 100% hear Sheev's sentiment because it doesn't always. No, but that shit doesn't always pay off, and it should more. But that's why I'm always screaming about people like Charles Soule, man. This dude is a godsend, and he's a gem hidden deep within the High Republic too, bro. Like he's making dope High Republic stuff that nobody cares about. It's so funny because they just can't get to it. They're just like, we're going through so much shit. Yes, Kevin Scott. And I think those two are going to do I think they're going to literally be, this is a nuclear take, they will be the Filoni Favreau of anything High Republic, live action, movie, anything.
I'm down with that.
Bro. It's going to be fire. Just about enough for you.
That was just for all the haters.
Oh, I'm so happy that clip came into use.
Oh my God, we've used it twice tonight. It's been perfect so far.
I think I gotta step out, but I appreciate you for having me, brother. And we gotta do this. All four of us gotta do this again soon. And before I do go, we all gotta give a big happy birthday.
Yeah.
Even though it's a day late. Happy birthday, Hawks.
Yeah,
much love, brother.
Appreciate it, bro. Thank you. It was yesterday.
And it was yesterday, but go check out Hawks Holocron. That's my boy. Happy birthday, brother. I hope you have a good one,
dude.
I really appreciate it, bro.
Have a good night. We'll talk soon, yeah?
Yes, sir. Thanks for having me, guys.
Be safe.
I agree. We have to.
Peace.
I can't believe it's been an hour already, man. That's fast.
Yeah, and we didn't even get to like your list here. You got Andor in here. You got Bad Batch 2.
And the dude just left, but let's talk about Bad Batch real quick. So
I'm hyped for Bad Batch, dude. That trailer got me so hyped because it didn't really give away anything. It was just glimpses. I did catch the Republic Commandos in there, though. We might get Delta
Commandos. Yep, we're gonna get Republic Commandos. It looks like they're going to Coruscant. We saw Omega in the Capitol building in the Imperial Senate, what is now becoming the Imperial Senate, what was the Republic Senate. So they're going to Coruscant. They're going to the belly of the beast. Why are they going into the belly of the beast is the big hook. Are they going to rescue somebody? Are they going to try to assassinate Palpatine? You know, there's a lot in that where we don't know. And but the fact that she is steps away from Palpatine is intriguing.
And they didn't even show Mount Tantus or any of that stuff from the ending, right? So it's like that's all still a big question.
And why is their armor all new and hyper colored, right? Why does it look like the 80s 90s Bad Batch right here? So there's a lot of questions, you know.
Ren paint job.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like there's a lot of craziness going on in there. So yeah, I mean, this is the Bad Batch. Again, I was pumped on it the first season. A lot of people were not. A lot of people didn't like it. Omega really pissed people off. But you know what? We got that with Ahsoka and Clone Wars. So I try to wait to judge a body of work until it's complete, at least in the initial series and stories that they're giving us. And honestly, Omega's a boss. I like her. I think she's fun.
Pretty badass.
She's not OP.
I'm with you on just wait for the body of work to be out there that we can, because I'll tell everybody, and I've said it to you guys before, but everybody in chat, I highly recommend this, especially if you didn't enjoy Bad Batch season 1 too much the first round. Go watch it all together, especially the finale, the 2-part finale. Watching it without that break was a completely different feel, and I absolutely loved it the second go around.
Yeah, I'm with Brandon. I'm with him on this, man. I hope she grows on a lot of people. I think as she matures, our relationship to her is going to mature. She's a kid right now, bro. It's like a lot of people hate kids. Let's be honest.
She's a female Boba, though, man. I mean, like that's the part that gets me is like everybody joneses for young Boba and can't wait to see Boba put on the suit and this and that. But this is just a female Boba. This is the alpha to the Omega. This is the other side of the coin. Like these two are kindred almost. You know, one it's almost like I want a Freaky Friday, right? One raised by the scum of the universe, right? The bounty hunters, and the other one raised by the Kaminoans, treated like a princess, right? So the parallels in this are fantastic. And you know, the idea that we might get these two in the same room at the same time is electric, right? And that's totally possible.
I actually am pretty excited for Crosshair too, man. I am obsessed with the fact that like Order 66 happened and it affected his brain too. And now he's like, he's in between, man. I still think he's in between. He's still conflicted.
Now, now that we've seen, because his chip's out, right? But he still.
Well, he also got hit with that that heat thing.
Well,
I think it got fried.
Well, they said, because basically they said, well, how do you know my chip doesn't work? Right? How do you know my chip's not working, or it's already been removed or deactivated or whatever the hell it is? Regardless of that, it seems like potentially Crosshair and Cody is what everybody's saying are going to link up. Ooh. And that seems to, I didn't see that scene. I went frame by frame. Sheev swears by it that those two are going to link up, and it's in there. That's going to be fun. Because I'm curious how Cody feels after the fact.
Yeah, and it's like Crosshair's the whole good soldiers follow orders bullshit. Cody's not one of 99 actually ordered to do anything to him.
Right. Well, and that's the thing is that like Cody followed orders, right?
My
he
internet's
took
trash,
Kenobi out, but he didn't really finish the job though. Right? He sent people down to look for him, but he really didn't finish the job. So how does he feel after the fact, right? Obviously it wasn't the same kind of sentiment that Rex had with Ahsoka. He basically broke when he was holding his pistols at Ahsoka, his blasters. So was Rex closer to Ahsoka? Was he more?
I think what threw it off was, and what Palpatine and the Kaminoans did not factor in was emotional attachments, because emotions create changes in your brain. So when this triggered, Rex had such an emotional attachment to Ahsoka that his chip was probably flipping out in his head. He was probably in pain during all of that.
He was in tears.
I don't know if Cody had the same attachment to Kenobi. I mean, he right away he's like, okay, shoot him. This is right after he handed him his lightsaber back. It's like, but anyone that had an emotional attachment to someone else who was not it, I think that's what the Kaminoans and Palpatine couldn't predict, how this was going to react with that. And I think also, and so, correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm under the impression that the effects of Order 66 wear off eventually, because I feel like the clones are just kind of like in a weird limbo state at a point where they're like kind of like, I don't really know what I'm doing anymore. Like, it's just, I'm a soldier, but we did this, but I don't know how I feel about this anymore. Like, who was that soldier that was
on the street?
Syndulas? That was
who was the panhandler from the 501st, bro? Like,
well, I mean, even go to go to the comic that we just read, right? Go to the homework. One of the Jedi uses Order 66 as an escape route, right? He says the word Order 66 so that the clones will fire on the Inquisitors and they can make their escape. So really, it's not that the order fades, is that there's no Jedi around to trigger the order. So they're just going about their daily business. But whenever there's a Jedi close by and they hear that, that's the
that makes sense.
The hook. You know? So and I believe that's why Palpatine wanted to phase them out, not only because they were effective killing force, but because people could use that against him also, right? And the Inquisitors and Vader. So phasing them out, like we see a 501st trooper that, I mean, come on, that guy recognized Kenobi, right?
So here's the thing. Someone else mentioned too. They said that clone didn't flip out on him, but it's like, I think the clones that did execute Jedi were the ones around Jedi who had Jedi generals. They knew them by name, but a lot of these people could have escaped. A lot of them, and that's why Palpatine has the Inquisitors and Vader hunting them down, because they essentially failed Order 66. Like, that was a failure. But
yeah, it's an interesting perspective, because I'm curious as to where we're going to go in Bad Batch season 2. Obviously they're going to have to rescue Omega from Mount Tantus. That's
Yeah.
we're probably gonna start out there. We're gonna get some Kaminoans.
Man, you think it starts there?
It's got to.
I'm so curious.
It's got to, because
I want to know about that Jedi Survivor too, and that tank. Like, is it a back to tank or is he clone, bro? Like, is he a clone? What is he?
Oh, I didn't even think about that. I just
that
assumed
dude just
get
grown there and then forgot about. Like,
could it be? Could he have found Starkiller?
We don't know, man.
I know it's called Survivor, but
it's a video.
Imagine an aged Starkiller,
long hair, because he's just been growing.
It was the clone left behind.
I mean, I've grown. I've grown my hair out. All right, it takes like,
oh my god,
Matt's like, fuck that. That's it.
Oh my god, my pants are getting tight. This is insane.
Twice in one stream, shit.
I'm throwing, trying to get stuff to stick on the wall here, but
oh my god, I want to play Force Unleashed 2 again now. Like right now.
Could that be because this is 10 years after Order 66, so this could be right in the middle where Vader's trying to create his own apprentice to overtake Palpatine. Could this be an intro into what Sam Witwer was saying at Star Wars Celebration to Sheev? You never know what could happen and when Starkiller could make a return. So could that be Starkiller? Could that be the
long hairs to throw us off?
Dude,
even if it's not as successful, right? Even if he opens it and it's DOA, that gives us an entrance into the backstory that could be Starkiller.
Too much.
Oh, did I just blow your mind holes? Because both of you
I don't know.
have the same look on your
face.
I
am like, my brain is like going nuts right now of like all the possibilities.
I don't think that the world. I don't think that there's technology to force clone sensitives yet.
Well, right, but that was what Vader was working on. Right?
That's what Vader was working on.
Snoke is the first success of that.
Well, that we know of, because Starkiller was a secret project. The only reason we knew about it is because we were playing as that character. It was a very secret project by Vader. Did the Emperor even know about Starkiller?
No, because even Vader was like, no one can know anything about you. He's like, you kill everyone. Like that first mission, kill Coda's men, kill the stormtroopers, kill everyone, because no one can be left behind.
Where was he created?
Vader had a secret facility.
Yeah, he had.
Were there Kaminoans there?
But Vader was using Kamino in Force Unleashed 2, so I'm assuming
that's what I'm wondering.
But
all we see in the first one were the machines, though.
Just you know what it was?
It would come down.
In 1, he's not a clone. It's the kid he found on Kashyyyk, right?
He found the kid.
But somewhere along the way, he clones him, and geez, this is all coming back to me. Okay, so in the first game, Vader kills Starkiller in front of Palpatine to basically prove he's loyal to Palpatine, right?
Yeah.
And then time passes, and eventually he puts Starkiller back together and he wakes up. So at that point, I think that's when Vader started cloning him. And then when we get to the intro of 2, you got tanks full of Starkillers.
Okay.
And a bunch failed because they went nuts. Their minds were broken.
And there's Kaminoans there in the second game?
They're on Kamino, but you don't actually see any Kaminoans.
Because that's where it would have to go for me. It would have to be a secret planet, like Tantus.
Oh, dude, what if that...
Force Unleashed 2 is so underrated. People hate that game. I'm like, that game's brilliant.
What if Vader goes back? Because he knows about Kamino.
Yeah.
Right? Like, he's very familiar with Kamino. And you saw the secret lab that was still there when the Bad Batch went back, when Omega went back. There was that secret lab. There could be other, like, he could go back and rebuild secret labs on Kamino that are just his, because everybody thinks it's destroyed, and that's where he starts cloning Starkiller, right?
So my point is, fanboy dreaming here,
totally fanboy dreaming. But what if Survivor is the Jedi Survivor is Starkiller? and even if it's a failed attempt, even if he only lasts for 5 minutes, the fact that they could introduce and how perfect would Sam Witwer be to play an aged Starkiller right now? I mean, just like Hayden is the perfect age to play Vader right now, how perfect is Sam Witwer to play an aged Starkiller and to bring Starkiller into canon and show us Vader in live action building Starkiller?
That'd be
total
crazy.
Fanboy shit right here.
Oh yeah, but it's like you said before that, stuff was made legends, but they're picking from it to adapt it to what's current. And that's where this can really go. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, Hawks. I know you got
no, you're good. It's still there.
To say. But it was that's a storyline that is ripe with plot lines that they can use and just alter enough to make it fit. And if it's altered to the point where it's like, okay, well, it is Starkiller, but he's aged because of this.
Right.
Now all of a sudden that puzzle piece fits.
Right.
You're talking about how Vader faked killing the kid in the first game and whatnot. I think that would be really interesting, because if Reva somehow, not as maybe a kid, but as a discovered Force user, was killed in front of Palpatine, and then she is now a contingent of Vader as like a backup, because at some point Vader figures out, okay, A, I didn't kill Padme, and B, Palpatine ain't my friend, man. He is not training me for nothing. So I'm wondering if there's a situation where like Vader needs to start putting some backup in his back pocket to know that eventually Palpatine's just going to try to use him. I don't know. There's something there with Reva, though. Someone long time ago, I think it was Dawn, was saying she touched the rebel symbol when she was in that room. Yeah. She like put her hand up on the rebel symbol. I don't know if she's got that ability where she can see the history of the room, and that's why she's so good at this stuff. Everyone is like, one of the things that I see a lot is like Reva is written to be too smart. And I'm like, well, she's just paying attention to literally the stuff no one else is, because she's not an inquisitor like everybody else is. They're following orders. She's just not. I don't know why.
When that one guy, he's like, you're going to get what you deserve. And she's just like, I really hope so. Like she's, that wasn't like I hope so, I'm going to have all the power in the world. That was, she's on the fence somewhere. She's stuck in the middle. Like, I wouldn't call her good, because she's like literally cut a woman's hand off and everything. And like, she's pretty brutal. I think she's been twisted since she was a child, but she's still like in that, she's bouncing back and forth between the light
loyalty to Vader or something. Like,
I honestly believe she wants to kill him. I think she witnessed Anakin murder her friends. And I think this is a long game of just her trying to get him.
Well, and like it's been said other places and many times, Vader kills anybody that mentions that name. Anybody that mentions Anakin Skywalker dies. Aside from Ahsoka and Luke, necks get snapped, clones get cut in half. Like, this is a thing. So the fact that she knows, but he hasn't cut her in half yet, tells me that that's something she's hiding. And that was something she pulled out of her ass when she was talking to Kenobi to kind of screw with him and to force him out, because she knows the only way to lure Vader off of Mustafar is to catch Kenobi. That's the only way to get him off. Number one, to get him off balance, because he's so enraged and focused like a laser that's the only time she's going to get an upper hand. And two, that's the only way to get him off his throne and get him out of his bacta tank.
Yeah, because I don't think she's ever physically been in the same room with him up until the point where he stepped off that ship, and she was like, oh my God. I swear she saw that as an opportunity, and the Inquisitor brother stopped her.
Yeah, I agree. I think she was going to follow him and find a weak moment to take her chance to be. I think it's either one of two things. Either she wants revenge and she has been harboring this hate for him, and that's what makes her powerful to them, or she secretly wants to replace him. And killing him just is the way of the Sith. is the only way to take his throne. Either way, I think she's out for his head.
Yeah, she has a lot more depth to her story that we have yet to see. I go back to my point that you and we talked about this before, where I just feel like people don't have patience for storytelling anymore, which is sad. I love the build-up. I love the world building. I love the character development. And I know there's more to her. Like right at the start, she's going to look very two-dimensional, except for little glimpses here and there. But we're now about to go into the second half of this series where it's going to be laid out on the table. Everything everyone wants to know about her, we're about to find out. Like we are a few days away from finding out.
You're talking about Legends, right?
Mm-hmm.
So
except for them changing that except for them changing the ending.
I gotta shout him out, man. My man Brandon in the chat, he's just lighting it up right now. Yes, that name along with his son Corin, they're both written on the walls in Arabish inside the path room. They are
Corin? I keep hearing that name.
He is a
father and son Jedi from Legends material.
Okay.
And there are
the boy's name was Corin.
Yeah, the son's name
that
is
Jari sends off. They take their money and send
Corin
them away.
Horn.
That was his name. So that was the son. So the father had already gone through
episode 2 of Kenobi, they say.
Right.
This kid
his name was probably already written on the wall because the father had already gone through, not knowing if the son was going to show traits. When the son starts to show traits, they get him and put him on the path. So
then there's 2 other names. Raganda Ismarin, and these are all from a book of called Children of the Jedi.
Mm-hmm.
One of the names on the wall was Djinn Atlas, and also notable for being the mentor of Castilla Ming, Luke Skywalker's love interest from Children of the Jedi. So there's some stuff there, man. There's some stuff there.
So to answer Vito's question, Vito was asking, what's the big deal with, why would Vader want to kill anybody that knew? No one. Anakin Skywalker is like a phantom after the events of Mustafar, after he ended the war. And nobody really knows what happened to him. You hear them talk about him in a bunch of content. You hear them talking about, Anakin kind of vanished. No one knows what happened to him, this, that, and the other. At the beginning, they knew that he was the one that ended the war. He was Palpatine's right-hand man when the Jedi betrayed him, but nobody knows where Darth Vader came from.
Yeah, Vader came out of nowhere.
He came out of nowhere. They just saw this black suit, and everywhere he went, death followed. So in that regard, Vader hated the name Anakin because a lot of people, there's a lot of debate on this, but Anakin was always in there trying to break out. He was encased in a prison of hate, and he only broke out a couple times in the entirety of Vader's rule in that body. And so you kind of got to look at him like kind of like alternate personalities, very very Moon Knight, if you will, very he's
in a sunken place.
he's basically living in a cage of hate, and there's only a couple times we see it when
he's in the sunken place.
Vader and Ahsoka fight. Anakin creeps out of his cage for just a second before Vader traps him back in there. And then when Luke, at the end of Jedi, when he rescues Luke, these are the only times that Anakin broke out of the cage that Vader was trapping him in. So really, it's Vader. Anytime anybody mutters that name, it enrages him. Like that name is beneath him, right? And when Luke talks about him, he even says that name no longer has any meaning for me, right? And Luke says it best. He's like, that is the name of your former self. You've just forgotten, right? You've been living in this prison for so long, you just think you are who you are. And that's why he wants nothing to do with Anakin Skywalker's name. That name he wants forgotten in the galaxy, and everybody to know Vader as the supreme force.
He sees himself as Anakin as weakness. That why, like, that was you know what? That's his slave name. You could put it that way. Like, that's his entire life was in slavery as Anakin. I mean,
and it's his biggest weakness.
As Vader,
his greatest weakness to his dark side fear and control is that he used to be a Jedi.
Right.
That's as simple as it is for me.
And Reva would never have the stones to even think the name Anakin Skywalker in Vader's presence. Right. Like, she's held that card very close to her chest. I think she was waiting to find Kenobi to drop that domino, to drop that big five, right? I think she was waiting for that moment to call 2020 twin, because it's almost like she was excited to actually say it.
You know what? I just thought of this. She probably heard one of the 501st call Anakin Vader during this siege on the Jedi Temple.
Right.
My speculation,
they're calling him Lord Vader at that point.
My speculation on the whole Anakin thing goes deeper because of this comic and the fact that in the comic they're a gift from Palpatine. I also do not put it past Palpatine to have already told all of them exactly who Vader is. So now Vader command this group of people while they also know his greatest weakness and the fact that he is the chosen one turned to the dark side. And I wouldn't put it past Palpatine to tell all of them that. So
potentially, but it's not a public statement, right?
But people are upset that Reva knew.
Well, and I mean, she was also a Jedi in the temple, and like Matt's saying, if they escaped, and there's
She's
one
old enough
guy
to know him too, you know what I mean?
Yeah, because everybody knows one of the greatest generals, him and Kenobi. I mean, everybody knows the two greatest generals of the Clone Wars, right? So really, it would not be a far fetch to say, oh, well, she's running away. There's only one guy with a lightsaber in this building chopping younglings in half. Right? You come up, you have a 501st clone say, Lord Vader, we finished sweeping the north side. That's not a hard thing to see.
Yeah. And also, with Palpatine, like you mentioned, Hawks, with Palpatine, like giving the Inquisitors to Vader as a gift, they're also a constant threat, because the dark side is about suffering. You have to be in constant pain and everything to keep you, like, it keeps you sharp. It keeps your dark side powers on the ready, right? And so another throwback to Force Unleashed, Vader does the same thing to Starkiller. He programs a droid. He programs Proxy to constantly look for an opening to kill Starkiller.
Yep.
And then even when he fails, he's like, "Oh, I'll get you next time." He's like,
that's very reminiscent. Look, what people don't know about that scene and what people forget is that that's exactly how Anakin trained. Anakin was constantly in the training pit as a Padawan, constantly battling a droid that was programmed to fight like Maul. He went through the Obi-Wan's fight with Maul on Naboo thousands of times. That's why that's the whole reason he tries it. That's why Kenobi knows what's coming, because there were so many times when him and Windu and Yoda were looking down in the training pit and watching Anakin replay that fight over and over. That's why when they're on Mustafar and he says, Anakin, it's over. I have the high ground. It's over. Stop this madness. He's saying that because he knows Anakin is going to go for this. He's watched him train it thousands of times as a youngling, as a Padawan, because he wanted to best his master. And so who knows the move better than the man who made the move, right? And he chops him like sushi, right? But he knew what was coming because Anakin was obsessed and constantly trained with that droid. He did the same thing with Starkiller. Basically, he said, I'm going to train you the way I train. Here's Proxy. Let her teach you. Brilliant. Brilliant.
Yep. I think Cal Kestis is still alive in the current going up to Obi-Wan, Boba Fett. Someone asked that in the chat. I think it was BD1 too. I don't care what you say.
I can tell you factually it was not.
I mean, in Book of Boba Fett,
I can tell you it was
don't
not.
Care.
And I can tell you obviously didn't watch my live stream, The Mandalorian Experience. You definitely need to get over there. If you guys don't know, the proof is in the pudding. That was BD72. They named him. They marked him. They labeled him. Signed, sealed, delivered. That is not my guy BD1. That is BD72. I'm sorry.
Cal's dead.
You got it here. It's first and foremost. I'm sorry. He could be alive, but that wasn't.
He's just like, nope. All right, I'm out.
That's my one thread of hope, and he just cut it.
Oh, he's dead. You heard me. You know what? We're gonna get more BD1 though. He's gonna be in Jedi Survivor. He's gonna look awesome. He's gonna save the day again.
Bro,
dude, BD1 jumps up on Vader and zaps him in that game. It's like bravest droid moment of all time.
Well, and see, for me, like that is almost as good as R2 battling super battle droids.
Yeah.
Right. And lighting them on fire and like all that nonsense.
That's a good point. Yeah, that's hard to beat that.
But BD1, I already ordered my Lego set. I pre-ordered that shit. As soon as it dropped, I pre-ordered. I want that Lego set. I want that droid over my shoulder, hanging out right here in the background always. But yeah, I can't wait for that Lego set. I can't wait for them to make BD1 like the droids at Celebration, guys, was amazing. The R2s and the Imperial droids and the R4s, the Red 4s, and all of these different droids that were at Celebration, guys. I saw a chopper. Sheev saw a chopper where the arms actually came out and moved.
Have you stood next to a K2SO?
No, but I did see
next to the life side. He's massive,
dude. Grievous was huge.
Yeah,
Grievous was like 6'5". He was huge. He was. I mean,
Vader
he could have been 7 foot tall, bro. He was. The Grievous was humongous. But there was one droid. There was one R unit that had an R2 unit that was yellow, and every one of his doodads worked. His comm port came out, twisted, did the whole thing. His grippers, like flaps opened, lightsaber out of the, like everything worked, dude. I cannot wait until we get a life size 1x1 BD1 that moves along with you, or that will like hang out on your shoulder and balance. Like that's coming. It's coming, bro. Cause it was amazing. It was amazing.
It was great. I mean, I just replayed that whole game, and man, there's little moments with BD1 that you could see BD1's got a weird journey, because if you gotta remember that he had his memory wiped to protect the younglings that are listed in that holocron. Yep. But as he's going through this journey with Cal, you can tell that BD1 is kind of like, it's like, that's familiar. I recognize this, but I don't know why. Like, he's got like all the thoughts and the emotions and everything. Dude, that little guy was fantastic.
Well, that is, look, there are certain droids that have more empathy and compassion, I think. And I don't know if it's the Force through their programming. I don't know if it's
just depends if they were raised right.
Not having, I mean, look, R2 witnessed
take the bite out of the dog.
R2 witnessed everything. And never really had his memory wiped. And I think that's what makes him unique, is that once BD1 gets his memory back in the game, he's very overly sensitive and very overly protective of Cal. Right. And so it's that memory, that long memory. I think the longer a droid is not memory wiped, the more attached to their people that they get.
Yeah. Oh, I mean, think about the stuff that BD1 might show us in Jedi Survivor. Just bust out a hologram of something that is just because now he's got a bunch of stuff back. So it's like he may show Cal something, or BD1 might lead him to whoever that is in that tank.
Well, and there's, I mean, you know, there's so many characters at this point that are available for them to find. Quinlan Voss, this could be the journey of the survivor. He could be the survivor, right? That could be him in a bacta tank, healing from battle wounds. I mean, you just figured out that he was in for episode 1. You just saw him in the background of
that blew my mind.
Scene, right?
I forget, somebody pointed that out to me. I'm like, are you kidding me? And I looked, I was like, holy crap. It's like, he's right there.
Yeah, I want to go more cosmic with this stuff, man. Not to sound MCU, but like I want him to go to Tython. I want him to see that stone that Grogu sat on. I want that temple to be like, I want him to go touch that and us to see something there. Connect it to the live action.
I think we could, because I think that the smart play,
Zepho, like I need those aliens.
Well, but like you said, that looked like a Zepho sphere, right? So the smart play to integrate those two would be to have you go to Tython, and the reason that temple is destroyed is because Cal finished the mission, got what he needed out of the temple,
some Indiana Jones style,
and that's all that's left. Yeah, I mean, that's all that's left is the top sphere.
Or if you imagine like temples that can only be opened by 2 Force users, like what if this survivor is the one that gets him in and out of a place, and that dude's trapped, and that's why he's not in part of the timelines that we know now. Like there's so many ways they can put these people. It's like when they did World Between Worlds. It's like they can do this where they do all this crazy shit, World Between Worlds, and at the end Ahsoka goes into her respective portal, Ezra goes into his respective portal, like nothing ever happened. So they can do that in these games. Give us just enough of the lore. I want all these sequel trilogy movies to go way deep into the Force, man. Go deep. Unlock secrets and stuff we've never even thought of.
Well, I mean, look, go ahead, Matt.
Oh, I was to say, that's the great thing about storytelling in video games, because you have all this time to go deep into things. Like, think about this. The playthrough I just did of Fallen Order, I focused on the main objectives, and that was a 9-hour playthrough. There is so much lore in there that I could have just went around and found a whole ton of stuff and spent 20 hours on that.
Oh, easily.
There's tons. You collect all these texts, and you get all these there's tons of stuff to read in that game about everything. And anybody in chat, if you've never played Jedi Fallen Order and don't have a way to play it, go watch my playthrough. And then if you get a chance, because they're online, people have posted this stuff, read the lore that's in that game. It's fascinating, especially the stuff about the Zepho. I agree, Hawks. The Zepho, I want more of them. I want more of their temples and everything, the way they've integrated into stuff.
Well, and their challenges were perfect, right? I mean, that the spheres and all that stuff was very perfect. You know, it would be smart to visit some of these places that we know, maybe visit Malachor. You know, this would be pre-Maul, potentially, because Maul hadn't yet. This is shortly after Order 66, or this is what 8 years after Order 66. So this is about this time. You know, maybe have him visit before Maul. Maybe go to that planet and realize you need a Sith, you need another person, whatever, and he has to leave.
Go to that planet where the Force is like a tide, and they can all feel it rising. What is that in the Thrawn? Is that in a Thrawn book?
Yeah.
There's a book where there's a whole planet of people that don't even recognize the Force like everybody else. So that stuff would be cool for Cal to come across people who just don't even know what a Jedi or a Sith are. They're like, but they know what the Force is, and they're very connected to it.
Right. Right. Well, it just, and it seems like going to where Grogu, the Scene Stone that Grogu sat on, making that one of the challenges that you end up destroying that temple when you complete the mission to get whatever you need, whether it's a key, a map, whatever it is, an artifact that you need. Regardless, at the end of that, you should look at that and go, well, I hope it still works for the next Jedi. And then he gets back to the ship or something. Like, make that part of it. That way you see those parallels, much like, you know, and you know, guys, if you don't like what's coming, but much like Luke's temple, right? We get it in 2 different forms, at two different times, and that's the kind of connection that they need to start making, and I think that they're going to start using. So hopefully we will see that that scene stone just in a full temple before Grogu gets to it.
This is where my mind goes to, and like the more new Force users and new Jedi they introduce in these parts of the timelines, every time was Cal in the temple. Damn, was Grogu in the temple? Like,
well, and I mean that's
imagine Palpatine's freaking storm kills literally everybody, and by everybody I mean Ahsoka, Cal, Grogu. Like, I don't know, man.
And that's why, as
a big temple, I'm just saying, like, every Jedi could have been there.
Well, and I really feel like I said, I'm still hoping now that it's especially now that we have a second season potentially of Kenobi, I need to see a Darth Mace. I need to see a Darth Windu, right? I need him to come for Luke.
Oh boy.
And I need him to force lightning Kenobi to age him.
What color does a purple saber turn when you bleed it?
I think just red. I think it just goes to red.
Like a dark maroon saber.
Dark red. But yeah, I want to see him. I want to see the last thing that Kenobi does before the ending of the show is kill Mace Windu, bury Mace Windu next to Maul. And that's
wow.
Yeah, bro. Look, Mace survives. Everybody's like Mace lives. Okay, let's call it Mace lives. Where the hell's he's hiding all this time? Right? I think he hiding in the temple, under the Jedi temple, the Sith temple, and he goes dark side down there because he's surrounded. Look, where do all the Jedi
that
hide?
would be dope.
Where do all the Jedi hide?
That line.
Right? Yoda goes to Dagobah, dark energy planet, dark side energy planet. Ahsoka's on Malachor in the temple on Malachor, protected by dark energy. Kenobi's on Tatooine. Everybody hates sand, so nobody's going there. So he's protected, right? So all of the high-powered users are protected.
Kenobi dies anyways, man. It's Alec Guinness,
but all of these people are protected by this dark side energy. What better place for Mace Windu to go? And what other master other than Yoda and Mace, who were like the highest ranking guys on the council, would know about the temple under the temple?
Yes.
Right?
Just hiding under Palpatine the whole time.
So yeah.
Every once in a while he just knocks on the ceiling like
No, I think
what the hell is that?
I think he's hiding down there in the temple, and I think that he's just reading and learning all about the Sith texts, and that it's slowly driving him mad.
And he finds it by accident, which also pisses him off even more.
That they were there.
The only one that knew about it was Yoda. You're super sus. I hate you, Yoda. There's something I'm telling you, bro. I don't hate Yoda.
But he's
There's
super
a connection. Sus. He's the only who ever lives. High Republic. You can just, the list goes on and on and on.
That's what I'm saying. Like Yoda knew about it. So
something he knows.
Mace gets tossed out, right? His lightsaber's gone. He gets tossed out of the window by Palps, electrocuted. On his way down, he wakes up, does what every Jedi does. He saves himself from dying with the Force before he hits the ground. He starts to head back to the temple, but something starts calling him because he just had all that dark side energy going through him. And he goes through, and a doorway opens.
So his hatred's what keeps him alive.
His hatred for Anakin Skywalker is what keeps him, and Palpatine, but more Anakin for turning, right? Because I knew it. I knew that kid was gonna do it. I knew it, and they talked me out of it. I told all of you, right? That's what Mace is doing down there.
Mace never trusted him.
He's like, I told you all, his kid was gonna be the death. I told you, fuck you. Like, you're cool. Fuck you, I'm out. Right? That's exactly what he did, right?
He said you're cool to Grogu as he saved him, but everybody else.
Right? So he goes back towards the temple. He's pissed off. He's raging. He's basically glowing red, and he walks by something, and a door opens, and he's like, "What the shit?" And he goes in there, and he's in there the entire time until the Emperor dies in the Death Star, and then he comes out and he's like, I want Skywalker.
Yeah.
Right? Or no, not till the Death Star. Until he just comes out and his only thought is Skywalker. He finds out about a Skywalker on Tatooine. He's like, that shit can't be coincidence. There's motherfucking
bro, and the dark side's already got him. The dark side already has him currently. He uses Vapod or whatever it is to tap into shatter points and stuff. That is dark side. So
yeah,
it already has him. And the dark side is not like it's not like the light side. You don't just take from the dark side. It is constant. It's a hunger. You're like you have a thirst.
Yeah.
You have a thirst. So you have to do these things.
Right.
I could see Mace easily being pulled in there.
That's what I'm saying.
So the second Mace is willing to give Anakin a chance, that's when Anakin cuts his hand off. He's like, he's like, you know what?
I won't hesitate next time.
He's like, if this all pans out, you will have earned my trust. Like the moment he's like, I'm gonna give this kid a chance.
Yeah,
that kid.
That's what I'm saying. Like he is pissed, right? Like really, as soon as when he shows up, he's like, he's the bad guy, Anakin, and then he cuts off his arm, and he wakes up on the way down. He's like, he cut my motherfucking arm. I told your ass, right? So he gets pissed off. He's suffering. He's angry, and boom, the temple opens. The temple basically calls out to him, and he's just sucking up dark energy in that place. And all of a sudden, he's like, I've had enough. He comes out. He hears about a young Skywalker on Tatooine somehow. He goes for him, and who's waiting to protect? Who feels Mace Windu land on Tatooine than Kenobi, and meets him in the desert. In the middle of the desert, like he met Maul, and says, Master, this isn't the way. And he's like, the son of Skywalker must die, and ignites a red lightsaber, and then boom, they battle in the desert, and he digs him a grave right next to Maul.
No, and then when after that fight, he's sitting there, finally gets the fire going, and then Maul walks out, and
then Maul shows up. That's perfect, bro.
Like,
bro,
can I just chill and
write that shit? Bury them together.
Yo, Vito, I'm sick of these motherfucking Sith in this motherfucking galaxy. Yes.
Can you imagine?
I am serious though. I'm not just joking around. I really do think that they could really bring Mace back and make him Dark Mace. And how much would Samuel L. Jackson love to go dark side?
Oh,
right.
Oh, it'd be insane.
Have some Sith electricity, because once you have been electrocuted by Sith electricity, you can enforce Sith electricity. So what better way than to go into the desert and for Kenobi to be like, Count Dooku already tried that, Mace. That's not going to work. It all comes down to, and the great thing about that scene would be Mace's strength has always been Vapod. He fed off the energy of his opponent. You can't do that when you're dark side. So what better way for Kenobi to win that fight? Because Mace is only strong in the light. He is strongest in the light because he can use Vapod, right? But without it, Kenobi could best him. And what better way to push Kenobi more into exile, to break him even more before the events of A New Hope, and to force him to become more of a hermit than to kill one of his old masters and longtime friend.
It would explain the metal legs too.
To save the boy. And it would explain his aging. Because he's got to age in the 7 years. He's got to age from Ewan to Alec. What better way than force lightning from a friend?
Force lightning from a friend.
Classic.
Oh, sounds like a fucked up Hallmark card.
I'm telling you. But I'm telling you, that's the cross I'm going to die on. I'm not going to put any more money on it. But I am going to say I would love to see that, because finally both sides would be happy. The Mace Lives crowd would be super happy. And then the people saying, well, where the hell was he after that then? Well, gathering dark energy and then coming after Luke. I mean, what better way to end that story than to get killed by Kenobi?
I don't need him to be as deranged as the guy from Fallen Order. But that one Jedi who like completely went off the deep end.
On Dathomir?
Yeah. Yes. Something like that. Maybe a little bit more like driven with the fact that like he knew Anakin would do this because
I
mean, the chosen one, like driven by that chosen one power now or something.
That's what I'm saying. I think the betrayal, right? It's not just that it's the betrayal. He was right. There's no feeling in the world more gratifying and more nut punching than being right. Right? Mm-hmm. When you can say, I told your ass, right? There's no feeling more satisfying, but also more messed up, because you're sitting there going, man, I fucking knew it. I mean, they didn't listen. I told their asses a bunch of, I told them all the time, and nobody listened. Mm-hmm. Right? That's how I could see Samuel L. Jackson playing that character, right? Like almost like Pulp Fiction meets Mace, like the two togethers people have been asking for, the mesh, the mashup that people have been wanting.
I should have just let that kid stand there and complain. I should have never told him to sit down. I should have just let him deal with it. I should have stayed
you're
out of it.
You're a goddamn master. Everybody's a goddamn master. Everybody gets a seat. Come on, everybody come on in. Fuck it. Right? I mean, that's how. I mean, in hindsight, that's what he's thinking. He should have been. Just let the boy have a goddamn seat. The galaxy's saved. But no, ain't nobody listening to damn Mace Windu. I'm only the second most powerful motherfucker on the goddamn council. Ain't nobody listening to goddamn Mace Windu. Right? Like, that's what people want to see. That's what I want to see. Just
Mace, he's got a lot of pent up aggression in him. But you see how, like, calm, cool, collected Mace always is throughout all of that. But there's even moments where you see him kind of like look to Yoda, like, where he's just kind of like, is this the decision we're making right now? Like, is this
like, really? Mm-hmm. I'm telling you, man. All right, last subject. So, excuse me.
Zoom type.
So last subject. Who's going to London for celebration? No, I'm just joking.
London.
Yeah, that's where the next celebration is, in London.
Yeah. They made that announcement.
Oh, wow.
Did you miss that? Yeah. It's actually not even a whole year away. It's going to be April
7th. April 7th is the 7th
man.
to the 10th.
That's pretty big.
It is big. The European
They're filming some stuff over there, right?
Yeah.
Because there's studios there, yeah.
Yeah, there's a studio here, Australia, I believe, and in.
Have they ever done this? They've never showcased like their UK.
Yeah, they did London before. Yeah, they've done Europe before. This isn't the first time they've done Europe. They just haven't gone back in a long time. Yeah, and I think they just wanted to give them some love. So, we're gonna try. We're gonna see how that works out, but
that'd be wild. That'd be a fun trip.
No guarantees. Yeah. Anything else, you guys? I mean, we've been at it for almost 2 hours, so I feel like maybe it's time to.
Yeah. No, this is good.
Hit the head, and then my better half's still out enjoying the sunshine, so I'm gonna get on some Furt, and I'm gonna Fortnite and kill some younglings with my Kenobi skin. And if you guys don't know, Matt gifted Hawks a Kenobi bundle for his birthday.
I could do some Fortnite.
And so I'm gonna get on some Fort for a little bit and just mellow out. I've been playing today and haven't got a single W because all the kids are on summer break whooping that ass. But yeah, so that's what I'm doing. Future stuff. What do you guys got coming up? Matt, you guys are always putting stuff out, but what's new?
Still putting together now that I actually have a voice back, which is nice. Getting the final voiceovers in on the second half of my Death Star documentary. I've got clips from people that I'm putting in there, which I'm so excited to have that in there. It actually feels like a real documentary, which is awesome.
Nice.
And I'm also capturing, and I'll be putting this out soon. It's going to take a little bit of work though. I am capturing the God of War games to tell the story of Kratos. Here's the thing about capturing that game. You got to do a lot of editing because there's a lot of boobies in that game.
Oh, boobies.
And
it keeps getting funnier every single time I see it.
Yeah. I don't want to lose my channel because of video game boobies. So I'm going to, edit them out. I'm sorry, everybody. I'm sorry.
Sag.
Yeah.
It's okay. It's okay.
Missed opportunity. Sith plots.
That'll be coming soon. The story of Kratos. That's on its way.
Okay. Hawks, what do you got in the pipe?
I'm playing the same games I've been playing. It's really going to be a lot more Tarkov. And there's a game, The Cycle, which me and Matt Cave have tried out before. That was a beta, and it's coming to full release on June 8th. So gaming content's going to ramp up on my channel. I do talk Star Wars while I'm playing, but mainly just if people have questions, you guys can ask me. Majority of my talk's probably going to be right here. I'll be honest. I like talking with you guys. Sheev already mentioned he's down, so I feel like the 4 horsemen of the apocalypse can just ride out into Shieldom. And
yeah. And we're definitely going to be doing more of this stuff. I haven't done a lot of lives and a lot of groups. It's usually community stuff, but I want to do more of this. I'm gonna be building that that AT-AT behind me.
Oh, so sweet.
Hey, appreciate everyone in here too.
So
shout out to all y'all. I see you.
We're gonna do that. We're gonna do that and some more. We're gonna do a celebration now that I've finally unpacked from celebration. We're gonna do a celebration haul and talk because there's a lot of little things I brought home. I didn't find any of the good stuff because I was just hyper overwhelmed. But yeah, we're gonna be doing some more stuff. I have some stuff to send you guys. So from celebration, so I will be doing that. And yeah, guys, it's been a good couple hours. We usually don't go this long, but yeah, there's a lot in the hopper for Star Wars coming out. I told you guys this was the year of Star Wars. So if you haven't already, check out my new video. I just put a video out about the Vader voice. Get out there and check that out. Give it a like, subscribe. If you haven't already, get over to Hawks, Holocron, and the Matt Cave all show Vader's Lair for Sheev the Wise. And anybody that wants to get in on these, I'm not just limiting this to 4. Any other content creators that want to get in on this, this isn't just a 4-man thing. This isn't, we're going to come up with a name for these, and they will not be on the same night all the time. That's not how I roll. This is a little more random based on what we can swing together. So as long as there are 3 of us, there will always be something going on here on a more regular basis. So yeah, any of the other content creators that want to get in on this, just send me a thing on the Discord, hit me up in the chat, or leave a comment, and we'll get you an invite whenever we can. Like I said, tonight was just a Friday night. Fuck it. Let's get together and hang out. I haven't seen you guys since before celebration. So I wanted to talk Kenobi with you guys, get your feel on it. I think we're all in the same boat. I think we're all enjoying it. We got mid-season right now with the potential for more. Last question. Are you guys hyped if we get a season 2?
Yeah. I'd be down for it. I'd also be very happy with just the 6 and done. But if we get more, because there's time, there is a timeline there that there's space to work with. So
it's tricky. There's not a lot of space. No time jumps. Don't do anything crazy.
Right.
In my opinion, don't do anything crazy. because the crazy stuff can come from spin-offs, man. I want Vader Inquisitors hunting people on the path, whatever you want to try to do, like do that.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, look, I'm not upset at nothing. I'm not hating nothing yet. Like I said, I lost dollars. So if anybody should be pissed off, it should be me. I lost dollar bills.
Not because we always get the shell thing here though. There's moments in the directing and stuff like that where it's like, this is TV. Obviously, it's not being as, you can tell it's not being as fine comb like a movie, because even like this is a small thing, but the shove in the alleyway between the 5th brother and her, and the way he pushed her, even it's like, we can't really just push people. Like, you just push her, like, you mean it? I don't know, but it's nitpicking. There's so much good shit in there.
Look,
all people are forced to do, I think, is nitpick.
I'm not happy about everything. I am not the type to come out and say the things that I don't like. I'm not the kind to put anybody on a particular blast. You know what I like, you know what I don't like, because I'll tell you straight. But I do got to say, I'm loving the look of the show. Deborah Chow is a boss. She has really put together an amazing looking show. It sounds fantastic. Terrifying. The sound of Vader is terrifying when he's walking down the street, when he's in scene. It is terrifying. She did a great job of making sure that everybody is frightened or feels anxious when Vader is on screen. She's done a fantastic job. I am going to reserve judgment until this is over. The fact that they are out, I don't want to say outmaneuvering. the fact that they are rerouting, and the spoilers and leakers and all of that is getting circumvented potentially really entertains me. And I'm excited that they're calling an audible on the line right now, and I'm loving it. So I'm excited for the show. I'm excited for the future of Star Wars right now. I'm excited for more visions. I'm excited for all of this stuff, as long as they do not bring back Bohemian Rhapsody, Lightsaber Rhapsody. As long as they don't bring back that goddamn kid,
bro. Could you imagine?
No.
Could you imagine?
As long as they don't bring back that light. I will be perfectly happy, but I'm happy for more visions. Ninth Jedi, Toby, all of that stuff. Ronin, I am down for it. So yeah, I think we're going to be doing a lot more of these. Again, if you guys want to get in here, let's do it, and let's have a good time. So I'm going to close this out. I haven't figured out what we're going to call these things. I haven't figured out what it's going to be yet, but I have figured out.
Force it.
I have figured out our title song though for these kind of things. So I'm going to play us out with what's going to be the new intro song and potentially the new exit song. We're going to play this out. I'm not going to play the whole thing. We're just going to play a little bit of it, but thank you everybody for being here. As always, I'm going to close out the same way. As always, may the force be with you. Everybody be good to your family, your friends. I hope everybody's safe. And as always, don't forget to get your pet spayed, neutered, help control the pet population. And as always, my two friends, thank you for coming and hanging out with us tonight. I really appreciate it. Sheev, thanks for coming in, even though it was only for a little bit. And let's have fun. I mean, Star Wars should be fun. Shouldn't be filled with all this angst. So let's enjoy it. Let's have a good time. And everybody have a good weekend. We'll catch up with you next time.